paradox of chaos, why it leads to fulfillment. Imagine this: you're standing at the edge of a vast forest. It stretches endlessly before you, wild and untamed. The paths are unclear, the trees twist in irregular patterns, and the sounds are unpredictable: branches snapping, birds calling, the faint rustle of something unseen. You hesitate. The chaos of it overwhelms you. But let me ask you this: would you grow if the forest were perfectly mapped, every step predetermined? Life, at its core, is that forest. It's chaotic, unpredictable, and often overwhelming. Yet, this chaos is not the enemy. It's not a flaw in the system. It is the system. And here's the paradox: the very thing we try to avoid, uncertainty, disorder, unpredictability, is what shapes us, strengthens us, and makes life meaningful. Friedrich Nietzsche, one of the most daring philosophers, once said, "You must have chaos within you to give birth to a dancing star." Think about that for a moment. Chaos isn't just a condition we endure, it's a creative force, a catalyst for transformation. Without it, there would be no growth, no progress, no fulfillment. But why is that? Why does chaos, something we naturally resist, lead to such profound meaning? Let's break that down. When we face chaos, whether it's a breakup, losing a job, or simply not knowing what comes next, it forces us to confront the unknown. The unknown is terrifying because it strips us of control, and as humans, we crave control. We want certainty, predictability, and comfort. But here's the twist: certainty doesn't challenge us. Predictability doesn't inspire us. Comfort doesn't transform us. When was the last time you felt truly alive? Was it when everything was going smoothly? Or was it when life threw you a curveball and you had to dig deep to adapt, to survive, to grow? The ancient Greeks had a concept for this: pathos mathos, learning through suffering. It's not that chaos exists to punish us, but rather it's in the process of grappling with chaos that we discover who we really are. Chaos strips away the illusions we've built about ourselves and forces us to confront our raw, unfiltered being. But here's the million-dollar question: if chaos is so essential for growth, why do we fear it so much? Why do we spend our lives trying to organize, control, and predict everything around us? I'd argue it's because we misunderstand chaos. We see it as destruction, as disorder, as the opposite of harmony. But what if chaos isn't the opposite of order, but its partner? What if, like yin and yang, chaos and order exist in a delicate balance, each giving rise to the other?
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
Think about it: a seed must break apart to grow into a tree. A caterpillar must dissolve into chaos within its cocoon before emerging as a butterfly. Even the universe itself began in chaos, the Big Bang, and from that chaos emerged galaxies, stars, planets, and life itself. Here's a question for you to ponder: if chaos is the price of creation, what are you willing to let fall apart in order to grow? It's easy to cling to what's familiar, to hold on to the things that make us feel safe. But safety can become a cage, and the longer we stay in that cage, the more we stagnate. Nietzsche believed that living authentically means embracing the chaos of existence, not running from it. He called this Amor, Fati, love of fate, not just accepting chaos but loving it, seeing it as an integral part of life's beauty. So, where does this leave us? It leaves us with a choice. We can resist chaos, try to control it, and live in fear of the unknown. Or we can lean into it, embrace it, and trust that it will lead us to growth and fulfillment. But here's the catch: embracing chaos doesn't mean giving up on order entirely. It's about finding the dance between the two. Too much chaos, and we're overwhelmed. Too much order, and we're stagnant. The key is to live at the edge of chaos, where life is vibrant, dynamic, and full of possibility. What would your life look like if you stopped fearing the unknown and started seeing it as an opportunity? The alchemy of chaos turning disorder into growth. Let's dive deeper. If chaos is the foundation of growth, then our task isn't to avoid it, but to transform it. Think of chaos as raw material, unshaped, wild, and often intimidating. Our job as human beings is to act as alchemists, turning this formless disorder into something meaningful, something transformative. But how do we do that? How do we do that? How do we take the overwhelming unpredictability of life and turn it into an opportunity for growth? The first step is perspective. Most of us view chaos as the enemy. When things fall apart, we think, why is this happening to me? But what if the better question is, what is this teaching me? Nietzsche believed that suffering and chaos are not obstacles to life, they are life. To live fully is to embrace the struggles, the uncertainties, and the messiness of existence. He even went so far as to say, that which does not kill us makes us stronger. Pause and think about that. It's not just a motivational quote, it's a radical way of seeing the world. Nietzsche is saying that the very things we try to avoid, the heartbreaks, the failures, the unexpected detours, are the things that make us stronger, wiser, and more capable. But here's the twist: strength doesn't come automatically from chaos. Chaos is neutral. It can destroy us or elevate us, depending on how we respond to it. And this is where the alchemy happens. Imagine a storm hitting a tree. The wind is so strong it snaps branches, strips away leaves, and leaves the tree battered. At first glance, it seems like the storm has only caused destruction. But beneath the surface, something remarkable is happening. The tree's roots are responding to the chaos. They grow deeper, stronger, searching for stability in the soil. The tree adapts, and over time, it becomes more resilient. Without the storm, it wouldn't have grown in this way. Now, think about your own life. What storms have you faced? What chaos has broken your branches, stripped away your leaves? And more importantly, how did you respond? Did you let the chaos defeat you, or did you use it to grow deeper roots? This is the essence of the alchemy of chaos. It's not what happens to us that defines us, but how we choose to respond. Surrendering to chaos is the first step toward transformation. This doesn't mean giving up. It means accepting that you can't control everything. When chaos hits, our first instinct is to fight it, to try to force order onto it. But chaos isn't something you can tame, it's something you have to dance with. Surrendering means letting go of the need for certainty and trusting that the process will lead you somewhere meaningful. Chaos is also a teacher, but it doesn't hand you the lesson on a silver platter. You have to look for it. Ask yourself, what is this situation teaching me about myself? About life? About what really matters? The answers won't always come immediately, but the act of asking shifts your perspective. It turns chaos from something you fear into something you can learn from. The best way to navigate chaos is to act, even when you don't have all the answers. Too often, we freeze in the face of the unknown, waiting for clarity before we make a move. But clarity doesn't come from waiting, it comes from action. Start small, take a step, and let the path reveal itself as you go. Life is inherently messy. It will never be perfectly organized or predictable. But the messiness is where the magic happens. Think of your favorite stories, whether it's a movie, a book, or even your own experiences. The moments that stick with us aren't the ones where everything went smoothly. They're the moments of challenge, uncertainty, and transformation. But why does chaos lead to growth in the first place? What is it about disorder that forces us to evolve? The answer lies in tension. Chaos creates tension, a gap between where we are and where we want to be, between what we know and what we don't know. And this tension is uncomfortable, but it's also a source of energy. It pushes us out of our comfort zones, forces us to ask deeper questions, and compels us to adapt. Nietzsche understood this well. He believed that tension is what drives human creativity and greatness. He called this the process of becoming. To Nietzsche, we are not fixed beings, we are constantly evolving, constantly becoming something new, and chaos is the engine of that evolution. Think about it, how dull would life be without unpredictability? Without the unexpected twists, there would be no surprises, no challenges, no opportunities for transformation. Chaos, for all its discomfort, is what makes life vibrant and alive. To dance with chaos is to stop resisting the uncertainty and instead move with it, trusting that it will lead you somewhere meaningful. But how do we do that? How do we do that? How do we learn to dance with something that feels so overwhelming? The answer lies in trust. Trust in yourself, in your ability to adapt, in the process of life itself. You've already faced chaos countless times before, moments when everything felt like it was falling apart. But you're still here. You've grown. You've learned. Chaos didn't destroy you, it shaped you. So why not trust that it will continue to do so? Embracing the abyss, why chaos reveals who we truly are. Let's shift our focus now. Chaos, as unsettling as it may feel, doesn't just challenge us to grow, it reveals who we truly are. It strips away the masks we wear, the roles we play, and the illusions we cling to. In chaos, there is no pretense. There is no room for the carefully curated version of ourselves we project to the world. All that remains is raw, unfiltered truth. Nietzsche had a term for this confrontation, the abyss. He warned, whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster. And if you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss will gaze back into you at first glance. This sounds ominous, like a warning to avoid the abyss at all costs. But that's not what Nietzsche meant. The abyss, the chaos of life, isn't something to be feared. It's something to be faced. When life plunges us into chaos, it feels as though we're staring into the abyss. We lose our footing. The ground beneath us dissolves, and we're left with nothing to hold on to. It's terrifying, yes, but it's also liberating. Because in that moment we come face to face with our true selves. Think about the times in your life when everything was falling apart, when you lost someone you loved, when a dream slipped through your fingers, when the future looked like a blank slate of nothingness. In those moments you may have felt lost, but you also glimpsed something deeper. When the noise quieted, when the distractions faded, when there was nothing left but you and the chaos, who were you? Let me ask you, who are you when the world around you crumbles? This is the gift of chaos. It forces us to confront not just the external disorder but the internal one as well. Chaos exposes our fears, our insecurities, our unmet desires. It shows us the parts of ourselves we'd rather not see. But here's the paradox: by confronting those parts, we become whole. Carl Jung, another towering thinker, believed that this process of facing chaos is essential for self-realization. He called it integrating the shadow. The shadow represents the parts of ourselves we repress, the fears, the doubts, the weaknesses we try to hide. Chaos brings the shadow to the surface. It forces us to look at it, to own it, and ultimately to integrate it. But this process isn't easy. It's uncomfortable. It's messy. It requires a kind of brutal honesty with ourselves that most of us spend our lives avoiding. But the alternative is worse. To deny chaos is to deny growth. To refuse to face our shadow is to remain incomplete. Here's a story to illustrate this. Imagine a potter at their wheel. They begin with a lump of clay, formless, chaotic, full of potential. The potter's hands press into the clay, shaping it, molding it, but the process isn't gentle. The clay is spun, stretched, and pressed. It resists, but the potter persists. And slowly, out of that chaos, a vessel emerges, something beautiful, something functional, something entirely new. We are the clay, and chaos is the potter. It presses into us, stretches us, challenges us, and in the process it shapes us into something more than we were before. But here's the catch: we have to cooperate with the process. The clay doesn't get to decide its shape, but we do. When chaos presses into us, we can resist, we can deny, we can try to hold on to the old shape of our lives. Or we can surrender, trust the process, and allow ourselves to be transformed. So, how does chaos reveal who we truly are? It does so by stripping away the illusions of control and certainty. It reminds us that we are not the carefully constructed identities we present to the world. We are something deeper, something more fluid, something capable of endless reinvention. Think of a river. On the surface, it may seem calm, predictable, but beneath the surface, it's in constant motion, shifting, adapting, carving out new paths. Chaos is the current beneath the surface of our lives. It reminds us that we are not static beings. We are rivers, always flowing, always changing. But here's a question to sit with. If chaos reveals your true self, are you willing to look? Are you willing to face the parts of yourself that chaos uncovers, the fears, the contradictions, the vulnerabilities? Because here's the truth, there's freedom in that confrontation. When we stop running from chaos, when we stop trying to control it or deny it, we become free to be who we really are. We become free to live authentically, without the burden of pretense. We stop clinging to who we think we should be and start embracing who we actually are. And isn't that what fulfillment really is? Not a perfectly ordered life, free of chaos, but a life deeply lived, messy, unpredictable, and full of truth. The abyss is not something to fear. It's a mirror, and when you gaze into it, you'll find not emptiness but depth. Chaos doesn't destroy you, it reveals you. Dancing with chaos, the path to fulfillment. Now that we've explored how chaos shapes and reveals us, let's take it one step further. What if, instead of merely surviving chaos, we learn to dance with it? What if we stopped seeing it as a force to overcome and started embracing it as a partner? Here's the thing about chaos: it will never go away. Life is unpredictable by its very nature. Plans fall apart, expectations are unmet, and the future is always uncertain. The mistake we make is thinking that fulfillment lies on the other side of chaos, as if we can conquer it once and for all. But fulfillment doesn't come from erasing chaos, it comes from learning to move with it. Nietzsche had a profound perspective on this. He believed that the highest expression of life isn't found in avoiding chaos, but in affirming it fully. He called this Amor, Fati, the love of fate. It's not just about accepting chaos or tolerating it. It's about loving it, embracing it as an essential part of what makes life beautiful. Think of it this way: a sculptor doesn't start with a perfect statue. They start with a block of marble, rough, unshaped, chaotic. The sculptor's job is to chip away at the excess, to shape the marble into something beautiful. But here's the catch: the beauty of the statue isn't separate from the chaos of the marble. It's born from it. So, let me ask you, what raw, chaotic material in your life is waiting to be shaped? What tension are you avoiding that could be the key to your growth? The alchemy of chaos isn't easy. It requires courage, patience, and a willingness to embrace discomfort. But the reward is profound. When we stop running from chaos and start working with it, we unlock a deeper sense of meaning and fulfillment. Here's a final thought for this part: chaos doesn't just lead to growth, it leads to freedom. When you stop fearing the unpredictable, you become free to live fully, authentically, and boldly. You become free to create your own meaning, your own path. And isn't that the ultimate goal? To live a life that is uniquely, unapologetically your own. Learning to dance with chaos also means letting go of the illusion of control. Most of our suffering comes not from chaos itself, but from our futile attempts to control it. We cling to plans, expectations, and routines, hoping they'll protect us from the unknown. But life doesn't work that way. The more we try to hold on, the more chaos slips through our fingers. When we let go, when we loosen our grip, we create space for new possibilities to emerge. Here's a thought experiment. Imagine your life as a piece of music. If every note were predictable, if there were no pauses, no shifts in rhythm, the music would be lifeless. It's the unexpected notes, the crescendos and decrescendos, the moments of silence, that make the music meaningful. Chaos is the same. It's not a disruption of the melody, it is the melody. So instead of fearing chaos, what if we started to see it as an invitation? An invitation to step into the unknown, to let go of the need for certainty, to trust that even in disorder, there is purpose. What if chaos isn't something to fight, but something to flow with? And here's the most beautiful part: when you embrace chaos, you stop living in fear of what might happen. You stop being trapped by the need for life to go according to plan. Instead, you open yourself up to the full range of experiences life has to offer: the pain and the joy, the failure and the triumph, the heartbreak and the love. Fulfillment doesn't come from avoiding chaos. It comes from meeting it head-on, from allowing it to shape you, challenge you, and inspire you. It comes from saying yes to life, in all its messy, unpredictable glory. So let me leave you with one final question. What would your life look like if you stopped trying to control the chaos and started dancing with it instead? Because maybe fulfillment isn't waiting for us in the absence of chaos. Maybe it's waiting for us in the dance.